Welcome. Welcome to our second Sunday of online worship from Old Ship, from our fellowship hall of our parish house this week. Online, nothing virtual about it. It is real worship, just at a distance, still vitally and vibrantly connected, us here to you and you to each other. It's good to be together. I hope you and your dear ones, wherever you are safe and well, and if facing challenges or illness, well cared for. Quick reminder by way of announcements, all in-person gatherings at Old Ship, classes, meetings, of course, are canceled, postponed for now, but keep an eye on your emails from us for ways we will begin making Zoom online gatherings of one kind or another possible, and stay in touch with each other, with your emails, with your phone calls, maybe some actual letters. How lovely to receive a letter in the mail. So welcome to worship. Music, prayer, story from Beverly, who's here this morning, reading, a brief message from me, and a chance at the end to sing together. Welcome. We gather for worship. Though at a distance from one another, we gather in spirit. May we feel our mutual care and concern, our love for one another, no matter the distance that separates us. For we are all always connected, our lives interwoven. So during this shared time of worship, may those who need comfort receive comfort. May those who need inspiration receive inspiration. May those, and this might be all of us, who need to feel the love, now and always. And may the flame of our chalice, flame of truth, of freedom, of community, of love, symbol of our Unitarian Universalist faith, may this flame remind us of all that we share, wherever we are, whether side by side in a pew or in distant cities. Many thanks for the music this morning, not only from Christopher, but from our soprano soloist, Heather. Thank you, Heather. A story.
So much shorter than you. There we go. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. It's just like any other Sunday, sort of. Some of you may have noticed that normal has disappeared. And it's been happening for hundreds of years, thousands of years, right? Maybe even beyond the time we've been recording. But for hundreds of years, people have been writing stories about it, because you'll be minding your own business and suddenly something that had nothing to do with you knocks you off course. And this is an old Buddhist story, which I like to tell myself when my life has been upended. There was a Buddhist monk walking along, enjoying a nice day, when suddenly, out of the brush, a tiger appeared. Honest. And the tiger started to growl and look like he was going to attack him, so he did what he could. He ran. And he ran a long way. The tiger picked up speed, and just when he thought he was a goner, he jumped over the edge of a cliff. Wasn't a great idea, but it was the only thing left. Luckily, there was a vine, and he grabbed it. So he's hanging there going, okay, I've got this. And then he looked down, and at the bottom of the cliff was a bunch of jagged rocks. It's like, oh, okay, not out of trouble yet. Okay, well, I'll just hang on until the tiger goes away. That's what I'll do, because I don't want to let go. Just then, 2 mice came out and started to nibble on the vine. What is going on? First a tiger, then jagged rocks, and now mice. So he's just feeling so upset and so victimized and realizing, I'm almost out of time. One of these is going to get me. And right then, he noticed the prettiest, ripest, most beautiful strawberry he'd ever seen. Is this a good time for eating strawberries? Is there going to be a better time? He picked that strawberry and ate it, and it was the most joyous moment, the most delicious strawberry he had had in years. There's never a wrong time for a moment of joy.
Raindrops on roses and whiskers on kittens, bright copper kettles and warm woolen mittens, brown paper packages tied up with strings. These are a few of my favorite things. Cream-colored ponies and crisp apple strudels, doorbells and sleigh bells and schnitzel with noodles, wild geese that fly with the moon on their wings. These are a few of my favorite things. Girls in white dresses with blue satin sashes, snowflakes that stay on my nose and eyelashes, silver white winters that melt into springs. These are a few of my favorite things. When the dog bites, when the bee stings, when I'm feeling sad, I simply remember my favorite things, and then I don't feel so bad.
Thank you again for the music. One of my favorite things, not exactly a thing, it's a doing, is our time of lighting candles of joy, sorrow, and concern every Sunday when we're together. This week, I'd asked anyone who wished to send an email with a joy or a sorrow, and a few of you did, and I will light those candles, and then the rest for all the joys, sorrows, or concerns that so many have, and yet will remain unspoken. But we'll hold one another during this time. First candle I'll light for Lorianne Yaisley Drogan's daughter, Christina, who Lorianne says has suffered several recent losses. We hold her in our hearts. Second candle, Connie Gorfinkel has asked to be lit. This candle, as she writes, a candle of love and admiration for the person who ran our old ship front office with the skill of a diplomat. I'm going to miss Juliana, Connie says, as we all will, as she moves on to other things. And we will miss her. This candle of gratitude for Juliana. The third candle is for Mary Thomas. She writes, a candle of love and remembrance for Hal Thomas, her husband, of course, and his birthday was yesterday. Husband to Mary, father to our son, Mary writes, Lauren, grandfather to Olivia and Will Thomas, father-in-law to Susanna Thomas. And so we light this candle for Hal and for Mary and all their family. For Hal, beautiful man. As I light these remaining candles, hold in your heart one another, hold in your heart and your minds the joys or sorrows or concerns that are yours this day. May we enter a time of meditation and prayer. Invite us all to pause, to slow down, breathe into this moment, into full presence of body, mind, spirit, noticing our breath, more fully present to our surroundings, the light just so, perhaps birdsong outside your window, blue sky here or gray if your sky is gray. Just breathing into the moment, noticing, present. And from this deeper presence, notice the yearnings of our hearts, which may arise, our prayers. We pray for each of us in our community, whatever measure of sorrow or anxiety or fear we may be feeling, or if experiencing illness or other life challenges, we pray for one another, hold one another in our hearts. We extend our prayers more widely for those whose very livelihoods are at risk during these days, those who've already been living from paycheck to paycheck, those without adequate health insurance, with not enough food. Our prayers. And again, each week, each day, prayers for our leaders. May they grow into the wisdom and knowledge they need and we need to help us all through these days. May we pause now in silence, knowing that we share this time, wherever we are, together. Reading this morning comes from the Book of Delights by the poet Ross Gay. Every day for a year, from one birthday to the next, Ross Gay resolved that he would handwrite some reflection on something that had given him delight during that day. And that's what he did. And if you want to imagine Ross Gay, as I share this reading, there he is, a poet who clearly knows how to enjoy each day. This comes from his book. Among the qualities of delight I've found, he writes, is the feeling of discovery. The sense that one has found something, been shown something, perhaps materially, perhaps spiritually or psychically, that was previously unknown. Perhaps delight is like a great cosmic finger pointing at something. That's not it, he says. Perhaps delight is like after the great cosmic finger has pointed at something, and that something, which in all likelihood was already there, which is why I've enlisted a cosmic finger rather than a human one, appears. That something appears. Aha! Or whoa! Yes! For instance, he writes, when I see birds swooping through the Detroit airport, which I happen to fly through sort of regularly, because I don't see them, the birds, every time, and forget that I see them sometimes. My finger, also a kind of bird, flying from my side to point at the little tuft that just skidded onto a trash can. Whoa, yes. I also notice myself looking around, searching among the commuters for fellow compatriots of glee. And then Ross Gay goes on with these words. I wonder if the impulse to share, the urge to elbow your neighbor, who maybe was not even your neighbor until the bird flew between you and up into the pipes and rafters you did not notice until you'd followed the bird there. This impulse to share, I wonder if it's among the qualities of delight. And further, I wonder if this impulse suggests, this is just a hypothesis, though I suspect there's enough evidence to make it a theorem, that our delight grows as we share it. I think he's right. Here ends the reading. For those of you whose German may be a little rusty, I gather the translation is even little things. Even little things. Thank you both. As most of you know, so a few words. As most of you know, I run most days, most mornings. One of my favorite runs is through the Whitney Thayer Woods here in Hingham. Some of you know it. I run through the woods, kind of a loop, and then up a really steep hill, running most of the way if I can. And then I make a sharp right, a few steps up, and there I am at the top, near the top of Turkey Hill. That broad field opens up, blue sky. If it's a blue sky day, which is the sort of day I make that particular run, blue sky, bright sun, it never fails to take my breath away. Whoa, yes. And with a few more steps up, a little more of a rise, the Atlantic Ocean, Boston Harbor, those expansive views, whoa, yes, pure delight. We have so many opportunities to experience delight. We just have to be paying attention when the great cosmic finger points something out to us, which it's often doing. Ross Gay's book itself I have found delightful. Nothing sweet or saccharine about it, mostly. He notes all sorts of delights during his year of this exercise of writing each day. Some delight might be a blooming flower that he'd never noticed before, might be his delightful cup of coffee at his delightful favorite coffee shop, might be some delightful human encounter, young or old, might be, he often takes pleasure in names or nicknames, words, delightful. All around us, the cosmic finger is pointing things out if we're paying attention not only to the thing, but to the delight that that thing or that event, that person evokes, if we're paying attention. Here's something that always gives me delight. All right. I know you're saying, of course, he's got a banjo. This is not the usual banjo you see me playing, though. Whether it gives you delight or not, I hope it does. This is my fretless banjo. You know anything about instruments? Most guitars and banjos have frets that enable you to get the exact note when you press down, and this one has no frets. So it requires another kind of care. In any case, I find this particular instrument delightful, the simplicity of the look, the grains of the wood. It delights me. And I'm delighted by the sound.